a little bit here that works best for me. I found out I use my taping knife. I use a hawk too. I don't really like those the actual steel pan. You know, it's just a personal preference. I just don't like digging it out. I think with a hawk you can have more of a nicer, you know, cleaner surface. So that's kind of why I like this thing. And I think it just carries a little easier. So basically here, what you want to do, you get a little bit of mud on your taping knife. I have a 6-inch taping knife. I could use a little bit of a smaller one. It would make a little less mud. You just got to be careful that, you know, you feather your edges nice. So you get a little bit of mud here on your end of your taping knife, right here on the end, and then when you go into your corner, you want to just lift up your back. Just basically drag the back along, and as you go down, you want to just kind of like you want to make the knife flat. So it'll here, I'll show you a little bit how it works. So you go like this. As you can see there, I got a nice corner there. So I'm going to do a little bit more here. It works the same way from the bottom. You just want to make sure your end, that's your leading edge is up, and then your tailing edge would be down. So I'm going to do this one here. One thing that does throw you off a little bit is it takes a little bit of pressure when you're doing it. You can't just drag it along. You know, like when you're doing, you're doing a ceiling here. I usually do these flat. You don't need near as much pressure for the flat. For these like this, you do want to have a little bit more pressure on there than the flat. Because if you do a whole lot of pressure when you're going flat like this, it'll take out too much mud. You won't leave anything there for the tape. So I got a little bit too much here, so I just want to drag it down like that. Clean off my corner a little bit. So I have enough there. I don't want to have too much, you know, unless you really like sanding. I caught on a screw on the way up. That's why I don't have a very nice path there. So basically, you just want to start here at the bottom, work your way up, and if you run out, just get a little bit more, smear it on the end there. Here where there's a butt joint, you just want to make sure you put a little extra in there. Otherwise it'll look like a dip out area. You don't want that. So there you can see I did that again. Nice trailing corner there. I'm gonna do the opposite side. Same thing, you wanna just start your way on the bottom, which is what I usually work from. Work my way up. It's personal preference really. I can do it from either way. I just found the bottom just seems to work a little easier for me. You know, I'm pulling it, I'm not pushing it. I mean, I'm pushing it, I'm not pulling it. If I go about halfway, and then I'll actually reverse it. So here you can see I'm about halfway. So I just want to reverse this. Got a nice amount on there. All right, so I got pretty much enough on there for my tape. Just want to put a little extra here. Take a little bit too much away. All right, when I drag it, it's taking too much out. I'm not sure why it's doing this. I'm usually a lot faster at it than this. There we go. All right, so I got enough here for my tape. And I just want to get my tape. You can use the metal corners. For this area, I don't need that protection. I'm not too worried about it. You know, stuff flying and hitting stuff, and you know, the corners. I always do the inside corners with paper. The outside corners, I always do metal, or I do a composite corner. I really like the composite. It comes in like a roll. You roll it out. So that's kind of the biggest thing that I use for that. Inside corners are tape, outside corners are metal. Outside corners get beat up a little bit more. Just want to make sure you set it in your corner good there. Start at your top. Use your taping knife, push it into the corner nice. Work your way down. Crease the tape as you go. At this point, you can just cut it where you need it. so I can just cut it off. Oh, my tape bent. It's not sitting in the corner there. Just want to make sure it's give a nice sharp corner. So get it in there nice, right like that. Now I have the tape on there. I just want to get my hawk again. I just lightly take it off. You don't want to smash it down. If you push too hard, it'll leave bumps, and you take too much of that mud out. It's just the mudding for the tape anyhow. When you come back to do your second coat, you can just make sure it's on there real nice. Fan a little bit out what you need, and you can make sure you have it all flat. I try to get it nice and flat like this, but once it's good, you just move on. All right, so that looks good there. Now I'm gonna move on to this. I'm gonna do this joint here next. Same thing on this. I don't want to drag it though. I'm gonna do the whole trowel width. So I just go like this, like that. Get a little bit more of my trowel than that. Start in my corner. I do about halfway, then I turn and do the other half. So they meet up in the middle. There we go. Now I got a lot there on the edges. You can see that. You can just take some off. Basically use the wall as your mud pad. Just take some off there. Put a little bit there where you need it. Right like that. So there you have it. Just feather those edges nice. Do another pass, one more yet. I don't need all that extra mud on there. Alright, so that's what I need for mud. Tape. Hold it on there with the taping knife. Well, it's supposed to stay on there. Over there, just push it in there a little bit. There we go. Right there in the corner. Flip it. There you go. So there you are for the tape. Remove the excess, and then just move along. For these, when I'm going into a corner like that, I like coming this way, feathering it as I go, and then just go right up the side there like that. Basically what you want there is you want like a divot for your tape in, because you want to be able to come back and cover that tape with mud. So I'll just check with your tape knife. Yep, looks like I gotta, you want to see some daylight in between there. You know, sometimes if the drywall isn't hung right, you won't be able to either, but ideally you want to see some daylight in there. If you have like a hump in the wall, you're gonna have to go feather it out a little bit farther, so it's not so obvious. Again, that all depends how the drywall is hung. All right, so now I'm gonna do this inside corner along this section. Same way it works. You just put some on your tape knife like this. You start on this side, right like that. taping the ceiling is always a little harder. You can't use the same technique where you drag like that. It just doesn't work. For the ceiling, works best to just put a little bit on the corner of the trowel. It's going to be towards the joint. Like this corner. Be always, pretty much always the one facing towards you. The corner would be the one you want to put your mud on. So that's how that works. You just put it on there like that without turning it. Okay, just like that. Just put your mud on there. Just go on there like that, flat. The sealing always takes a little bit longer. It's not so easy. You can't just run your knife along the wall. Like I was saying before, the sealing, you don't want to put as much pressure on your knife because it just takes too much off. Then you have to go back and put more on, and it's just a pain. Right like that. Want to clean your corner up a little bit where there's extra mud. For the corners, I like to do like a 3-way. After I have my tape on, do before a little bit just to get the mud in there. Just go like that, and I'm out of mud. So that's how that is.